Welcome to South Harmon. Welcome to South Harmon. Hey, welcome to South Harmon. We glad you here today. Another AMA. Ask me anything. Super chat is cool if you wanna pay to play. Like and subscribe, that's what we really appreciate. Let me introduce you to the tear down king. Mike McNutted, ask your questions, he'll answer anything. ATM, you know Adam put them graphics on the screen. Glad you tapped in now, stay tapped in for the team. Hey, everything is posted. Go follow the socials. South Harmon FF tag us if we get noticed. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today. Another AMA. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today.
Yeah.
Ooh, we made it. Wednesday night AMA. Oh, it's so weird that when it cuts off. You bright as shit, boy.
I know. This lighting in here is insane. Y'all can't even see the lights are everywhere. It's wild in here.
Room.
But we got bourbon, Mike.
All set up like last year.
No, they got a little conference in here
Tables
tomorrow
aren't
instead
all
of a
set
wedding, you know?
Ah, so you good.
Mm-hmm. What you up
What's
to, man?
good, everybody? Wednesday night AMA. Oh, drinking. Did 30 minutes with the Campus Canton guys. Mock draft.
Nice.
Making an ass out of myself. Good time.
Did you already did that earlier? Nice. How'd that
I
go?
don't fuck about shit. Yeah, they're still going. They're still going over there. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on the college side, to be completely honest. Right? You're just throwing shit at a dartboard for me.
Fair.
You don't know. Most of these guys are gonna fade out into oblivion. But Evan Stewart, Shador Sanders, Dante Moore, Lenore Sellers. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
Malachi Nelson.
Malachi Nelson. What do you think of Shador? Let me ask you that. I'm kind of curious where you're at on Shador.
Well, he came off as QB4. Nico Umalava, Carson Beck, Jackson Arnold, and then I took Shador. The only other ones I was thinking about was maybe Arch.
Arch, okay.
I really wanted Carson Beck, but that didn't fucking happen.
Yeah,
Carson Beck feels like the most sure thing for me to project from 1 year to getting drafted.
Do you have him? I feel like he's the one right now, right? Would you have it that way?
Kind of by default.
Yeah.
Shador is interesting though because you can see the hype machine like really build, and I don't say the kid wasn't bad last year. He's got some stuff to work on. That offensive line was fucking disgustingly bad. So did him no help.
Right.
First year in the FBS, right? All the hype around Colorado, all the pressure and everything. I thought he played pretty well for himself. Like he kind of reminded me a little bit, not player comp wise, but kind of like Justin Fields at Ohio State, but without all the talent around him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's times where you're like, Shador, I know you're a good enough athlete. Why the fuck aren't you running the football? Like, just take off, man.
Do you think he's actually that good of an athlete?
Play.
I think that's probably what everyone wants to know.
I think he is.
Given all the stuff we're talking with rushing too, right now.
Yeah, I would say he's got pretty good genes if we want to talk about athletes.
That's fair. Genes don't always correlate, you know.
I mean, I know his dad had some problems with his feet, right, and had some amputations, but I bet he could go out and still run like a 4.9 at.
I would be.
Or whatever.
I would take the under on 5. Yeah, I'm with you. Don't sleep on Luther Burden. Nobody's sleeping on Luther Burden, but Burden, right?
Yeah, I couldn't sleep on Luther Burden because he won at the 102. So picking at the 107, a little tougher.
Who was 101? Who slept on Luther Burden at the 101?
Jeremiah Smith.
Okay.
Dude, the hype train is out of control, man. Think about this. This is a C2C mock draft, like a startup, if you want to call it.
Yep.
A freshman who hadn't played a down at Ohio State yet. The fucking 101 out the gates, man. You say your Jeremiah Smith Ohio State hype train is off the fucking rails to start, man.
We've been producing them, so they just. I mean, it's just that's a lofty expectation, man.
I'm back up right here. What do you think, Adam?
Who's on the board? Let's talk about it.
Matthew Golden, the Houston transfer to Texas.
Okay.
Play with Quinn Ewers and the boys. That Harrison kid, that tight end, Michael Harrison out of Colorado, had some big games last year. I like him. Oronde Gadsden, the wide receiver, tight end hybrid thing for Syracuse. And then some running backs, right? Gavin Sawchuk, Abu Sama, Taj Brooks. Anybody out there feature fancy?
Just switch my camera. That's not what I wanted to do. Whoops.
Look at that. You want a different one.
Here we go. Bright ass.
You know,
where are you?
I'm gonna take the Iowa State guy so I could beat the allegations.
I was. That's not where I thought you were gonna go. I thought that was assumed off the board. All right, go ahead. Pull the trigger.
We're beating the allegations, man. I'm taking Abu Sama out of Iowa State.
I'm curious now.
He had a fucking monster year last year.
I'm curious now, pivoting to the thumbnail, Mike, where you're at on this offense here in New York. I mean, we know Breece and Garrett are, I don't know, probably two of the most talented in the NFL at their position. Yeah, I think that's easy to say. Do we think that this offense really takes a huge step forward with Rodgers this year? Coming off the Achilles at his age, like what do we actually expect, or what do you expect anyway? Well, I'm curious to see what the people say in the chat, but
I think it hinges on how well their first round pick does. I really do. If he comes in as a bust offensive lineman to a position they desperately needed, they're fucked. They're back to square one. Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers of old and isn't going to go out and create on his own anymore.
Right.
He needs protected at all costs. And the one thing you can say, like, if you want to make the correlation between him and, like, Tom Brady playing at an advanced stage, that Tampa Bay offensive line, that first year in Tampa, was fucking phenomenal, right?
Yeah, it was.
Tristan Wirfs, massive fucking hits, you know.
Wirfs was crazy.
All right out the fucking gate.
Right.
Jensen at center. What was it? Donovan Smith was the left tackle. Played out of his fucking mind that first year.
Yep.
Like, they absolutely killed it.
Sure.
And then you saw as that offensive line kind of deteriorated with injuries, Tom Brady struggled a little bit more, especially trying to repeat that success, didn't he?
Yeah, for sure.
They couldn't run the fucking football to save their lives, right? That first year, they come in and it's like, oh, welcome back, Leonard Fournette, and who was the Ronald Jones? Ronald Jones was having himself a year there to start too.
Sure. I think I like Fashanu quite a bit, but to your point, who like a prospect is not anything as far as what they're going to mean in the NFL. How is it actually going to translate?
I don't know who their offensive line coach is too, but I did see something just being tapped in with Philly. So Mekhi Becton, their mammoth Jets offensive tackle.
If you don't know, the dude's just a freak human.
But they let him go. He signs with Philly on the cheap.
Sure.
Right. We have one of the best offensive line coaches in the entire league in Jeff Stoutland. Like, just a fucking stud.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I mean, that's what Philly always has. Philly always has good everything, it feels like, you know?
Anymore, yeah. But the funny thing is, like, Mekhi Becton, you could probably label as a bust, and he couldn't stay healthy, and he never really got it together, and when he was in there, he was slow and whatever. They've been fucking raving about Mekhi Becton.
Hey, Mike, real quick. Garrett says, "Can you maybe put the gain up a little bit on your mic?" I know I'm traveling with my focus, right? So maybe it's partly me being up.
Are you? Oh, it's a little too loud here.
Yeah, it could be my fault.
I got it. I don't know why fucking Windows does.
You actually
but it puts my volume down.
You already sound 10 million times better right there. Boom.
Well, that's because I took it from a 65 to 100.
We'll take it. W's all around. All right, we're getting it solved,
so
man.
I got it. I got you, Garrett. But yeah, they've been raving about Mekhi Becton since he got to Philly, just about his versatility and his work ethic, and like they really feel like they're getting the best out of him. I'm not saying he's going to be anything special, but I think it does kind of highlight like the coaching with the New York Jets. Maybe that was the problem.
Sure.
Especially with their offensive line. So I guess it kind of remains to be seen, because if they can't protect Aaron Rodgers, they can't open up holes in the running game. They can't keep defenses honest. It's going to be the same old shit with just an old quarterback. And we're all going to be sitting here going like, yeah, A-Rod should have hung it up, man. Should have hung it up.
Damn.
Hypothetically, though, if they do, like, I think the tough part is the hype has almost come back, like right back to where it was. You remember this time last year?
Yeah, it's almost like the Achilles didn't
Eric's,
happen right now, right, Mike? That's what it feels like.
Our guy Eric's got him in the fucking Super Bowl. They're winning the fucking East, like right out the gate, even though the East contained the Dolphins and the Bills, and it's like Jets are the best team. They're going all the way. They're gonna unseat the Kings, the Chiefs. They're gonna take over for the upstart Bengals. Whatever the fuck the narrative was.
Sure.
It feels like we're slowly approaching that again, and I think that's kind of makes me want to panic. Like, it makes me want to panic just a little bit. Like, are we doing it again? Are we doing it again?
I mean, the weird part is we didn't get to see it, so it's just like, I guess it kind of makes sense though, because what happened really? I mean, he did tear his Achilles, and he's really old, so I would say that's different than like he just didn't miss a year. I think for me, I wonder this, Mike, and let me ask your opinion on this. Is there a scenario where the Jets really aren't that good or aren't truly a threat, but Rodgers consolidates this offense enough to where he knows who to get the ball to in Breece and Garrett Wilson, where maybe it's not like a huge uptick, they're elite, but that they are in different stratospheres than we've seen the last couple of years, especially for Garrett Wilson?
I think that is probably the more likely scenario, to be honest with you.
That's what I've been trying to, like, it's not fun, but I feel like that's what I've been trying to dial myself into thinking as a realistic outcome. Now, I guess that begs the question then, how good can Garrett Wilson be in a scenario like that, and then what is his upside really? Because obviously the upside's still tremendous if Rodgers, like you said, if Ashano's great and they actually have a good offensive line, this team's competent, I mean, the sky could be the limit. But more I guess reasonable expectations. What would we think there for like Breece and Garrett Wilson if they stay healthy?
Well, 2022 was the last year we saw Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, right? The last year we actually got to see him on the field more than 3 snaps.
Yeah, it was a down year for him relative to the 2 prior years for sure.
It was a shitty fucking year for Aaron Rodgers. It was
100%.
Devontae Adams still 8 that year, like 8.
Really?
Damn near 20 fantasy points per game. So I think for the ancillary pieces, it'll be fine if that's the case, and I think that's the most likely outcome is. Maybe Aaron Rodgers ain't Aaron Rodgers anymore. Maybe that offensive line isn't good enough for Aaron Rodgers to be Aaron Rodgers anymore. But I think we should still feel fine about Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. It would be all the other pieces that, I sometimes I invest in a little Alan Lazard, maybe a little interested in Malachi Corley, feel like Tyler Conklin might be a little bit of a value at tight end. Yeah. It's going to be those pieces where I think if the realistic scenario comes out where Aaron Rodgers struggles, the offensive line struggles, those guys are just almost fucking zeros, especially for lineup purposes. There's almost no reason to fucking roster any of them.
Yep.
But your Garrett Wilson, your Breece Hall should be fine. Just maybe not hitting that elite ceiling. Like there's a realistic case if this offense is good under Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't have to be great, but just good. Mm-hmm. Good. It just takes a little step forward. There's a realistic case for Breece Hall to be the RB1 in fantasy football. And that's saying something because CMC and San Francisco's offense is fucking amazing.
But it's 100% correct. I mean, I feel like people maybe they do if you own Breece in the back half of the year and he was part of the reason you won a title. Maybe you realize this, but I feel like people don't necessarily realize that Breece, coming off the injury, Mike, was the NFL leader in targets. Like, this is a guy that I feel like with this offense. Breece Hall, to your point that you're making here, is where I'm at with him. I think that if he stays healthy, he probably has a very, very high floor and also has a outrageous ceiling that we don't see from very many players, period.
I would say for my final determination of it, I'm very safe on Garrett Wilson. I mean, Devontae Adams in 2022 with Aaron Rodgers being shit or below average, way below average, got 180 fucking targets and averaged damn near 20 fantasy points per game. That's a lot. And then if you go look, you're like, well, they couldn't run the ball. Aaron Jones was an RB1 that year, over 1,000 yards. One of the best years Aaron Jones ever had. And that's with a middling kind of meh offense. The offensive line wasn't that good. Remember, Bakhtiari got hurt. They didn't have a good replacement for it. They had a guy that they drafted to be their center now playing left tackle. No shade against Ellington Jenkins, but that's a tough ask when you have a young guy. Like, hey, you're going to be an interior offensive lineman. Well, by the way, our all-pro left tackle, all-world guy is fucking done, not coming back. We're going to need you to figure out how to play left tackle out of the blue. It was a tough ask. And it was a tough year for that team, but Aaron Jones, Garrett Wilson still 8. I don't see any reason why Breece Hall and Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams still 8. I don't see any reason why Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson couldn't eat this year, regardless of what that offensive line and Aaron Rodgers looks like.
With you. Let me ask you then, Garrett Wilson, because I think Breece Hall at this point, like, he's already being drafted, redraft, dynasty, whatever, very high. Garrett Wilson, do we think that, Mike, what his floor probably is, as long as the offense even just takes a tiny step forward, and Rodgers likes to pepper the ball to a guy he trusts, do we think that he's actually got a safer floor than we won't have been giving him credit for, or no? Where are you at with that specifically?
I really find myself with Garrett Wilson interested because, last year I was fading the shit out of him.
Of course.
And, made the joke about it, and really what's the difference between him and Chris Olave. But with Aaron Rodgers being back this year, and I'm not even saying that he's going to be good, right?
Yeah.
But just somebody who's consistent and has shown a pattern of locking in on one fucking guy, being the kingmaker for whether it was Devontae Adams or fucking Jordy Nelson or Donald Driver, whoever the fuck it is. Like, there's all kinds of guys where Aaron Rodgers will lock in and be the kingmaker for a wide receiver. I think this is the first time that Garrett Wilson's price is appropriate. It is appropriate for what we can expect this year. Like, Garrett Wilson really could be in competition with CeeDee Lamb for who sees the most targets in 2024. There's
I agree.
not many
with
other
that.
guys that you can put in that category. There's not.
No, I agree with that.
So sometimes actually feeling like getting him at wide receiver 7, I mean, sometimes his prices are even more like in line with what Chris Olave is. Like, he's 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, if people have their reservations. This is the first time I've ever really been in on Garrett Wilson, Adam. And it actually feels good. Like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I feel like I'm drafting appropriate. I love Drake London to death, but if you ask me which fucking wide receiver would I rather bet on for this upcoming year, it's going to be Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, that shouldn't even be a discussion, I feel like. I'm with you, by the way. I basically what I'm saying, Mike, is I'm starting to become a lot more comfortable with Garrett Wilson as probably not the elite group, but truly being slotted in that next tier. I just feel like if he doesn't do it this year, Mike, I honestly don't. I have a hard time seeing maybe not him being elite, but him not being a top 15-ish receiver with that type of target volume coming from Aaron Rodgers. So if he finishes a top 15 receiver, he may not give you the expectations we've all had, but no one's going to be panicked on that. You know what I mean?
And it's weird how both New York teams are like that. Like, who the fuck else are you scared of on either New York team between Malik Neighbors and Garrett Wilson of taking targets away? Not a single fucking person.
No
on
one.
either
No.
team.
Hell no.
I mean, the biggest threat Garrett Wilson has to target competition is Breece Hall out of the backfield on dump-offs and screens.
Yeah, and they both could just they could both have a very consolidated offense where they get a shit ton of targets apiece. We got a super chat from Simon though. Let's pivot to that. All right. If you have any more questions or comments about the Jets, do you believe? Put it in there. Tyrod Taylor. Well, real quick, Mike. I don't know what's happening here, but Anthony Ross is talking his noise.
Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah,
that's harsh,
right.
Anthony.
We got a 1 out of 2. 12-team Superflex PPR, start 10 lineup, half tight end premium, bad team. First mini quarterback horde, Lamar, Herbert, Daniels, May, Penix, Gibbs, Addison, Pickens, Polk, Pearsall, Otten. 2 out of 2. Should I be sending offers or just waiting for people to come shopping? Herbert for Nico plus McBride, Lamar for Chase straight up, sit tight for 101, push, or actively diversify positions? It's an in-depth question.
Ooh, this is... All right, so it's bad team. He's got a mini quarterback horde. I mean, if your team's already bad, like some of the deals that you listed, it's a lot of fuck nos. No. Like, especially if I'm already bad, what the fuck do I care if I'm... Like, why do I need to trade off of them if I'm already bad? Unless it's a good offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I get you.
Like the first one, Herbert for Nico and McBride. No fucking chance. And I'm like the anti-Justin Herbert guy.
I mean, like I think I'll say this. I understand what you're trying to do. I'm not devaluing Herbert to that level, Mike. I can't do that. I feel like I don't, and I know it's not just us, but we've kind of just piled on Herbert for so long because he was in the first round for a lot of the offseason. And now I'm starting to be like, not that I really want to draft him because I know it's he's gonna have a good floor and not really much else, but I feel like it's getting to the point where he's now being almost disrespected a little bit. Like it's kind of flipped on its head.
A little bit. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I was driving that one too hard.
No, it's my fault for sure. But regardless, I'm not taking that deal. What would you need though? Like, I feel like that's startup values wise, that makes a lot of sense. But positionally, I just don't. I don't love it. With I guess it depends how you feel about Nico. If you really are bullish on Nico, you think Nico's like a true top 15 receiver, I can kind of get more behind it.
Maybe that's my problem.
I think actually, as I'm starting to read through it, I think that's exactly where I'm at too.
I mean, that contract was nice, but it did nothing to like. It did nothing to quell any concerns I had about like who's going to eat in that offense. It really doesn't. I mean, Tank Dell had such a fucking rapport last year with C.J. Stroud that you can make a case for him still. Sure. And I think right now, actually, he's probably the one that's most undervalued. And then Diggs is an all-pro wide receiver that I would think maybe has 1 or 2 years of juice left and a little bit motivated after his departure from Buffalo. If it's like his departure from fucking Minnesota, at least for 1 year, like that's a scary proposition with a guy like Stephon Diggs. Like, definitely just, hey, I'm off my diva shit, but I'm going out here and y'all going to fucking learn today.
I will say, Mike, specifically Lamar for Chase, I don't love. I'm okay doing this with different quarterbacks. For example, I mean, you're not going to get it done, but like if it was Herbert for Chase, I'm not even blinking. Lamar's like one of the – there's like 5 quarterbacks I wouldn't do it for, Mike, and he's one of them. So, like, that's I can't. Not with Lamar.
Too elite. I definitely see if they wanted to pivot to Herbert or something like that.
What other quarterbacks does he have?
Daniels, May, and Penix.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Mike, is there a plus? If it's like, listen, you got to come get Lamar, right? Because that's the only way you get to Chase.
There you go.
What type of what would that look like? Or is it so unrealistic that it's not even going to happen? Or what are we talking about, do you think?
I wouldn't say it's unrealistic, but get a wide receiver back, a younger one. Now, the problem is he's got some guys on his team already that are kind of interesting, which would be like some of them, like, could you sneak a George Pickens plus? Like, okay, well, he's already got George Pickens. Fuck. Could you sneak a Ricky Pearsall? Like hey, let me get a first-round wide receiver to San Francisco. I already got him on his fucking team.
The way I'm looking at this with his team, Mike, is like...
Could you get a lad? Like
you probably could. You probably... I guess, Mike, I would say typically you would say yes, but you and I probably are more cool on lad as far as... I think a lot of people expect lad to come out and just be a wide receiver like 15 this in his rookie season, which is just unrealistic. I was going to say, like, based on this quarterback room, though, I can get behind it. You still keep Daniels. I can get behind doing this with Lamar. I feel like I can't do it straight up, though, because it kind of the whole idea is I don't know. You get Chase now, but I can't do that straight up for Lamar when I have all these quarterbacks personally. I can't do it. Because you definitely need the receivers, right? I mean, if it was Chase, Addison, Pickens, all of a sudden that's a lot different than Addison, Pickens, Polk, Pearsall.
Yes.
Would you be sitting for next year's 101? If it comes to it, I think that's probably
that's the beauty of the quarterback cord. Either fucking pay me what I need, or I'll just sit here and I'll be bad and I'll take the 101 next year.
We'll meet up next year.
I'll add Luther Burden to this fucking team of good young quarterbacks and nice kind of upside wide receivers, and we'll reevaluate next year.
Well, plus, I mean, right, and you have all season to pivot off of guys like, all these quarterbacks that might have some pop weeks, right? You have the opportunity to basically sell to the highest bidder throughout the year, and what you have in totality could be totally different come next year this time.
Yeah. I think I'm good with it.
Yeah,
You don't have to. That's probably the biggest issue I see with people quarterback hoarding is they get impatient and they feel like they have to move stuff. And then you take less than what you should, and you give up all your leverage.
What I will say
to
the point you're making here, Mike, and what I'll say about this in general is, all right, if you really wanted to make one of these two trades, it's probably, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan, but it's probably not egregious either one. Here's the difference, though. If you're going to make this type of a trade, so for example, Mike, let's say this team was actually a little bit stronger, like it had more depth and it was higher at the top, and if you make this pivot to Nico and McBride, now all of a sudden you're in the driver's seat or close to it to contend. Okay, like if that's what it took for you to really form out, like the thing is these type of trades don't necessarily even guarantee you're a playoff team right now. That's the other problem for me. Like if I'm going to make one of these trades, I would want the rest of my team to be a little more ready than it looks right now, personally.
For sure. Yep.
So I'm gonna just keep holding my value, and I'll find a way to form my team when it's ready to go. But it's just not yet with those two trades, in my opinion. By the way, if Malik Neighbors sees, I mean that's 200 is just outrageous. But
how bad are those 200 targets?
I mean, I don't even, Mike. Can I tell you they're probably horrible? But if 200 targets for a rookie, could you imagine?
Oh my God,
bro! People would go absolutely fucking crazy. He goes 200 targets. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine what the community will do. But to your point, there's got to be so many horrific targets, like in the dirt, doesn't even get to him, no chance to catch it at all. Just horrible.
Just those kinds that sail over his head.
That too, yeah. All right,
like Brock Purdy on his worst
Ayuk
game last year. Just like not even fucking close.
Feels like it's going to the stand. Should I feel bad for fleecing my league in our rookie draft? I traded away T-Law, Bateman, and Otten for Daniels, A.D. Mitchell, Ben the Senator, and Pop Douglas.
Well, Daniels over T-Law, so yes, I already feel bad. Bateman and Ottman just really don't do anything for me. So, I mean, A.D. Mitchell and Sanat, rather than those guys too.
A.D. Mitchell way over Bateman. Otten and Ben Sanat, like, here's what I'll say. I don't understand the Ben Sanat completely outrageous hype train right now. I feel like, you know what's funny? Last year I was here, and we had the video, Mike, was rookie tight ends of the moon. It feels like I'm just reliving.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Back again.
But Ben Sanat, like, I mean, listen, I like the prospect, whatever, but it's outrageous. I would take him over Otten, but I think I'd be looking to flip based on his current hype train. But, I mean, yeah, you definitely cleaned up here. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I'm not like I'm willing to fuck around and find out on Bateman because his price is nothing, right?
His price is damn near free.
And I'm not the biggest A.D. Mitchell fan, but like I feel like I already won the minute you let me have Daniels for Trevor Lawrence. So,
well, that's what I mean. You already probably.
Everything else is just easy.
To me, it's a clean market is pretty close on the two, but I would rather have the Daniels side. One, okay, but then the crazy part though, Mike, is A.D. Mitchell for me feels like I got to just reset Bateman. Just don't have a first round draft capital, but that's a great reset, frankly. And
we got to point out too that it's pointed out that it's Senate, but again, like I said on Fizzle's show, I'm white and that's Sanat to me forever. So like, that's just what it is. Yeah, he's not the senator. It's Sanat until further notice. You haven't done fuck in the league in order to, like, at least Achane went out and had like a 50-point week, and then he was like, by the way, it's Achane, not Achane.
But Mike, here's the thing. I think it's much more like Pop Douglas for me. I'm not calling him anything. It's Sanat until you prove something to me. Then I'll call you your proper name.
Emphasis on the not.
Exactly.
I remember the start sit last year. I refused to call him Pop Douglas.
Yeah,
until
the best part was
something.
It was literally that week, and he's like, "All right, he got me. I'm calling Pop."
I don't even remember what his first name actually is anymore because he actually did something. So
Glover Daniels in 6-point passing touchdown. By the way, appreciate the super chat. If anybody else wants to super chat, skip the line, let us know. But Simon, if you had any further questions or follow-ups, let us know there. Where are you at on this? I'm curious.
Give me Daniels, but it's closer because it's 6-point. If you watch the video on Monday, you know 6-point is kind of the great equalizer. But you also have to remember for guys who have elite rushing floors, it also increases their elite ceilings
Mm-hmm.
by a whopping bit. So I'm still going to lead Jaden Daniels here between the two.
I think here in
But
six,
I would say it's a reasonable debate.
I think in
honest.
six, I think to be completely fair, and this is a guy that, I mean, I tried to dunk on Love all last year, Mike. How far we've come. I feel like I put him in 6 point per passing touchdown. I put him in a tier. With Daniels being the upside play and Love, actually, which is kind of insane to already say, more of a, like I've seen enough out of Love, believe it or not. That's
Like a steady Eddie.
It's just, yeah, this is hard for me to say out loud, Mike, but yeah. I think Love, honestly, though, if you look at the back half of the season, I don't feel like we gave him enough credit, man. I really don't. I'm starting to get to the point where it feels like Love. He was good. You brought it up plenty of times when he was struggling early in the year. He was actually a decent warp option when he wasn't playing well. And then the back half of the season, the dude was there was a few games. We were watching that one with Maddie and Cody. It was like the guy was dialed in. He was absolutely couldn't do no wrong. So if he finishes that, if he can replicate what he did in the back half of the year, I could see this guy being a top 6, top 5 quarterback, honestly, in a 6 point per passing touchdown league.
There's a possibility, for sure. I also see a guy that I project to have 800 yards rushing, somewhere in there.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I mean,
like,
Daniels is like I said, Daniels is still the upside play, but I feel like even that being said, there's a lot of upside to Love, but to your point, he doesn't have that crazy rushing floor, or upside, I guess I should say, not floor.
No, I think he's good, though. I don't think this is absurd, Theo. So I'm still going to lead with Jaden Daniels, but Love is a very fair compromise.
I mean, six point passing touchdown last year. Jordan Love, now you got to include Flacco in this, apparently. But so he's quarterback 7 in points per game, 22.5. And that's with, I feel like some rocky games early in the career, or early in the season. So I see Jordan Love actually as more of a steady Eddie with upside, but to your point, he doesn't have that like break fantasy rushing type of ceiling.
No, and I mean, you're talking 6 point passing touchdowns. The average for the elite quarterbacks, the guys with rushing upsides, is like 27 fantasy points per game.
Right.
And 6 points.
So like last year in this format, you're looking at Josh Allen was 26.8, Lamar 25.1, Jalen Hurts 24.7, Dak 24.5, Jordan Love was at 22.5. But I mean, that's still like, it's what is it, 4 points off from Josh Allen, but that's a really nice option. I put him in the same tier, but just different bets.
It's
swinging for the fences with Daniels for sure.
I don't even think we say that Lamar had like a great year. I mean, it was good and it won the MVP, right? But by Lamar Jackson standards, from what we've seen, it was a good year. It wasn't great, right? It wasn't that good. And then I just went by week 7 onwards for Warp through the end of the season, like just to cut out some of Jordan Love's shittier early games and really highlight the rest of the season.
Right.
Lamar Jackson got a 1.6 Warp for that week 7 through 17 in a 6 point passing touchdown league. Jordan Love was right there, but it's 1.4. Like, he's a spot behind. He's more in line with Brock Purdy and Baker-esque.
Yep.
Where Lamar is pushing Josh Allen and Dak.
Colin Holderman. Interesting. My dad will love this. He's a huge Pirates fan, even though the Pirates suck. Interesting.
Oh.
I don't know anything about this dude, but I'll have to take a look. If he looks like me, good for him. I bet he's having a great time. Pro athlete looking like me, I wouldn't. Not at all. You could look a lot better than me out there. What do we got here? You guys, Rhonda. Rhonda, I don't know what we said, but we appreciate you being here. What do we got here?
What the fuck is that one? What the fuck is that one?
I have no idea. I feel like Mike could probably break the world record for longest fart. I mean,
maybe.
What do you think so?
Good Dr. Pepper.
This is AMA. This is AMA. Ask me anything, so we'll oblige.
A good Dr. Pepper and maybe a 66 milli. I think I could get her done.
Really, a Dr. Pepper. The 23 flavors is what's going to get you there, huh?
Do you ever have a Dr. Pepper and not like fart?
Mine's
2 hours, an hour.
Those definitely don't make me burp. Like
it makes you gassy as shit. Maybe it's I don't burp enough. Maybe that's the thing, and that comes out the other end. It's got to go somewhere, right?
That air's got to go somewhere.
I got a loose sphincter, so it just chooses to go that path instead of out the esophagus.
Christmas.
Just so you know, my esophagus is really tight, but my sphincter is very loose. So choose your ends wisely. What do you think about that?
I think, man, I'll tell you one thing. I've been drinking a lot. I got bourbon. Just the bar closes.
Double fisted.
Triple. This is gone. I got about a half of this left, and then they close at 10. So I'm like, well, what? I have to order the bar here in the hotel closes at 10. So I'm like, all right, well, just load me up, man. We'll see how it goes.
Shut it down at 10.
Yeah, man. I'm like, wait a minute. They got the NBA Finals on.
What the fuck?
Listen, I don't make the rules. You know, Wild Dunes they call this place. Some wild time.
I feel bad for Fizz too. Like he's gonna have another night of. I mean, they're down 15 for fuck's sake going into the fourth quarter. Their first game at home. You know, everything was gonna change when the Mavs.
What's crazy is it looked like it was early. If you were like right before we started, I'm like, okay. And
first 5 minutes were pretty good.
Listen, the Celtics team. Can I be honest? It's too deep. Like you can't.
It's too good.
The worst part is Tatum doesn't. They're so good overall that Tatum doesn't have to be that next level player to actually have them win.
And then when he has nights like tonight where he actually is that dude.
But that's the thing, right? Then he's still super inconsistent. I think is getting to the point where maybe the name catcher is a little too much, but he still can go the fuck off. And when he does, now what happens? The
most interesting thing for me is Drew Holiday is probably one of the best defenders in the entire league.
You know what's that dude has really gotten interestingly aged very well. His game has aged super well. It's crazy.
I think he's gotten more publicity later in his career than he did earlier.
Of course. Rightfully so too.
But the fucking crazy thing is I think he's one of the best defenders in the entire league. And right after him is Jaylen Brown because Jaylen Brown is a very fucking elite defender. So you're like, man, they probably put Drew on fucking Luka, and then, maybe they'll put Jaylen Brown on Kyrie or whatever, and can Jaylen Brown stay for... They're like, fuck that, man. Jaylen, you got Luka. Drew's just going to shut down and frustrate Kyrie the whole time. And to slow down or frustrate Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic on the offensive end is what makes the Celtics so fucking good, right? Because on the other end of the floor, though, when they're playing offense, I don't care if Jason Tatum doesn't have it going or Jaylen Brown doesn't have it going. Kyrie and Luka play almost zero fucking defense. None. Luka's got a great highlight reel from Game 2 of just getting fucking walked by, man. Adam, I think me right now, out of shape, I might have been able to beat him I might have got to the rim on Luka.
We were actually having some, and then I get where you're going, but yeah, there's no chance.
Come on, man, you saw that effort, Jesus Christ.
But I will say what's crazy is in the finals the effort is. I understand that a lot of these guys don't want to defend. It's the reality, but when when the moment's high and the effort's low, that doesn't make sense to me. I'll say though the interesting part to me is Drew is nowhere near the athlete that I'd say underrated athlete, honestly. But Jaylen Brown is a freaking that dude is he just as an athlete is so well rounded at everything.
Just don't do the dunk contest ever again, please.
Listen, it's okay. You can't be perfect. You can't be perfect at everything. We all have our flaws. It's kind of like when Trip Crown says I look like this pitcher, but he has long hair. Well, I mean, I don't have any hair. That feels
since
very,
it is
very
the
odd.
finals. It is the finals, but this is fantasy football that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I got to bring it up again. Think about Drew Holiday and his build, right? 6'4", 210, 215.
Is if I was actually that's like me, except I'm not anywhere near good. That's my build. What happened?
Compared to
Did I lose you? Oh, I lost you.
It's just a little pause.
Okay. What repeat that. I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Think about Drew Holiday's size and his athleticism compared to the other NBA players he's playing against, right? Where you say, I don't think he's the greatest athlete, but, I mean, he's very good.
No, he's an underrated – that's what I mean. He's an underrated athlete. He's just – I just mean relative to Jaylen Brown, who is a, world-class athlete, honestly, in the NBA.
Now transfer Drew Holiday into a fucking safety in the NFL. And he's one of the most athletic safeties we've ever seen in the NFL. And he's giant.
Well,
and he can move his feet. He's not just a Jamal Adams in the box safety either. That's a guy sideline to sideline, get the fuck out of here in coverage, locking down tight ends.
Yeah, 6'4" in the NFL in secondaries would be crazy. All right, so
this is no offense. I'm a football fiend, right? And I think the NFL athletes are phenomenal, right? And there's good athletes in different sports. I think the NBA, me personally, for the longest time, has always highlighted the fact that these are some of the greatest athletes on the face of the earth.
For sure.
Top to bottom on the roster, right? There's only 15 roster spots for these guys. There's 30 teams. And everybody's trying their best. And basketball is one of those sports where you can play by yourself and practice and work out and hone your skills, right? So it's one of those weird things where, I can't go out and fucking run routes by myself. I need somebody else there. There's more people across the face of the earth playing basketball than there are football.
Oh, well.
Because it's just so easily accessible.
Yeah, I mean, you can put a fake goal together if you want to and just get a rock. I mean, you see that all the time. But football's a bigger team sport. I would just say that, Mike, to that point, like, if you think about it, if you do the 12, like, active dressing, that's 384 people that are, like, safely in the league, let's call it, okay?
Yeah.
Now, understand that there's probably only, like, a group of, like, 200 that are actually – they made it. They're kind of they're going to get new contracts and stay for 5-6 years. So, I mean, 200 people in the world, Mike, the world playing that sport. It's damn near, when you think about it from that lens, it's damn near the same as like playing an individual sport like golf, like to get your tour card. I mean, it's insane.
Who is that fucking Olympic sprinter or track guy who was like, why do they call them world champions if they win the NBA finals? Like that fucking clown.
Well, you fuck around and find out. I mean,
fuck around and find out, right?
When the U.S. loses in the Olympics in basketball, it's a catastrophic thing because
with our C team, where they also change the rules and they make that little what do they call that? A trapezoid lane. You see that shit?
I've played overseas on those, Mike. You know how easy it is to get 3 seconds over there? It's crazy. The blocks it's
huge,
halfway to the 3-point line in the corner.
And you got the rule, right? You can once the ball touches the rim, you can knock it off the fucking rim, right? There's no goaltending for that. As soon as it touches the rim, you're
There's actually quite a bit of differences in rules overseas.
Right.
Yeah, FIBA.
Right. You got to change the fucking rules, and then you need our B or C team. And then occasionally you'll pull an upset.
And even then, it's devastating. Like all those things.
It is devastating.
But my point is that's to answer the question rhetorically. All right, let's get back to. Actually, I love talking basketball, but let's get back into the questions. At least do that. Can't hear Mike compared to Adam. We just changed that. I thought.
Turn that up, man. I put my mic closer too. So
there you go. All right, fair enough.
I don't want Dr. B or Redwords getting mad because I'm like stroking it.
This feels all right. Stroke Kansas and Korea. I feel like that's a pretty dope name, and I have not seen comments, so appreciate you tapping in.
What's up, Kansas and Korea?
It's kind of sweet. I don't know the significance. I'd love to hear it.
Does it mean they're from Kansas and now they're living in Korea?
I think there's probably a lot of things that could. I think there's probably a lot of things that could come from it. Kansas and Korea, put it in there if you can give us context.
Yeah.
All right, Alejandro says 12-team Superflex, full PPR, start 10 at wide receiver. I got Wilson, Marv, Devontae Smith, Reed, and Pickens. All right, so you got 5 strong ones. Also have Laporta and Kincaid. Tight end warp in my league is bad. I got offered Demont, Walker, Nix for Kincaid and Smith. Well, the Smith thing makes this no. Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell fucking no.
No.
I had to just read this over a couple times. Like, I want to move. First of all, I want to move one of these tight ends, if not potentially both.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't say I need to move both is like I want to move my strong tight end if the warp line's bad. But if my team already has 5 receivers this good, I'm not anxious to do it, if that makes sense. Like, I still want to,
start 10.
But right, exactly. So, like, yeah, I want to move Kincaid. But I'm not – okay, here's the – I'm not moving Smith now, a staple in my wide receiver room. I don't even get back a receiver? I get – no. This is not happening, man. This is not the way I'm moving Kincaid.
You had me for a minute, right? I was like, Monty, okay.
What if that said Reed even, Mike? Let me ask you, because I want to see how far we go here. Is Jaden Reed and Kincaid?
Maybe. I'm not the biggest Jaden Reed fan now, just relative to like where his value is. But
I'm a big Reed fan. I just don't like his value. I'm with you on the value.
Saying that, like I still want to exploit what the value is on Jaden Reed, right? Like I want to do that strategically. You had me though with the Demont Walker Knicks for Kincaid. I was like, fuck, easy smash, man. Or even like Knicks and Walker, fuck, smash that shit all day. But then you throw in Devontae Smith, I'm going, no.
Well, the thing is, if I put Reed in this conversation, right? So, like, let's even say Reed and Walker kind of cancel out market. Like, I'm not doing this today where the market is way more bullish on Kincaid than Knicks, even though I'd probably prefer the quarterback in the Demont side, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting enough in market for having two of these young guys, so... I think the idea is correct, but I need to move Smith out of here. Like, basically, can I actually off Kincaid without giving someone back a really valuable piece like Devontae Smith or Jaden Reed, even for that matter?
Yeah. I would say if it was like Kincaid for...
Oh, here. Let's answer it this way, Mike. So Alejandro says, to my question, I have Najee as my best running back. That's fine. You don't need to, in this format, have a stud running back. And even there, in that trade, you're not getting a stud running back back. Like, that's the other thing.
What if you did something like nobody values it? Could you do Kincaid for Walker straight up? Or could you do Kincaid for Walker and Monty straight up? Like, forget the Knicks part altogether.
I probably
because
wouldn't.
The Knicks part involves me sending away Devontae Smith. You can get the fuck out of my.
I probably wouldn't do it for Walker straight up. Walker and Demont, I'm 100% would do that.
You wouldn't trade Kincaid for Walker straight up with a bad tight end warp line?
Well, let me say it this way. Not right now. I still think that you can find a better trade based on market. To answer the question, like, push comes to shove, I'm going to hold Kincaid for all season, or Walker, I'm taking Walker. I just feel like in Kincaid you can probably find a way on one of these pop weeks, or he gets a ton of targets one of these games and you can sell him for something more. That's more the point. But to the actual strategy side of things, no, I'd rather have Walker in a vacuum in this league.
As soon as the redrafters really start pushing him as Josh Allen's Travis Kelce, that really fires up.
Watch. Mike, I'm telling you, there's going to be windows, insane windows for Dalton Kincaid this year.
I get you.
It's going to happen.
I get you. I'm saying
unless he gets
hurt.
I get what you're saying too, though.
100% though. I'm with you too. Like if you got the stones or the cojones to hold, and you want to be a little bit more patient, sure, yeah, go ahead and hold. I think Adam's right on that one too. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, like for me, if I was trying to get this done in like a South Harmon league, it's like, fucking just give me Walker straight up, buddy. You can fucking have him. Take him.
Now, all right, yeah, you give that type of context, and it's like, listen, no one's gonna give you fucking Kincaid's market, sure. Right. Like now, yeah, all right, Walker, that's fine. But I was just gonna say though, to this point here, the way I'm approaching the running back position this year, Mike, and tell me if you view it different. Okay, so if I can get one of the stud running backs, I'm all about it. I really am. Like, if I can get one of those four, even the old one in CMC. Now, obviously at a different cost because he's where he's at in age. But basically, if I'm not there, I'm okay running out Najee at my running back one and kind of patchworking together much cheaper options at running back two. Even in a start 10, honestly. I just feel like there's a have and have-nots. The only one I touched on in the top those three buy candidates would be Devon Achane. And if you can get him, okay, he'd be the one exception to the rule that's not those four guys. Outside of him, I'm either I have one or I don't, and I'm cool if I don't have like any at all.
You're shooting for the maximum amount of upside, and you're okay if you fall on your face a little bit.
100%, exactly. But if I don't have that, give me Najee. Give me guys that just are going to give you crusty market value, but they're going to be safe floor production. Fine, you know.
There's plenty of running backs out there too that'll give you production, and they don't cost shit. Like, they really don't. People just toss them into deals. Monty's one of them. Najee, James Conner.
I did a video, Mike, last week talking about running backs that I would draft basically in rounds 8 through 12. And I actually didn't list like a bunch of them that I should have. But I already ran like 12, 15 names. It's just basically I get to that range in a startup, and I'll take shots on all those guys. Give me the whole field. Yeah.
Yep.
There's old crusty guys, James Conner, Alvin Kamara, people are writing off, which, I mean, efficiency and the Trey Benson thing, we get it. But then there's also upside plays there too. So there's so many guys in that range that I don't need to have a hammer running back in this league based on I'd much rather keep that wide receiver room and try to sell my tight end for a more meaningful player personally for me.
Yeah.
In that scenario than for Kenneth Walker, and then David Montgomery.
I'm with you. Oh shit! The lead's down to 9. 7
Okay.
minutes to go.
Man, it would be. You can't do it. It would be kind of sweet if we could have the game kind of put it in like a third box here. It would be a lot
ABC,
of copyright issues.
ESPN, YouTube, they probably all got a problem with that one.
Listen, but we're such a small little channel. I mean, it's South Harmon. Who cares?
I mean, last night on Savage Semester, I was blasting Broadway Girls, so it was.
All I know is I so badly want. I was gonna actually see if I could just come on my phone like Rip did, just join.
Yeah.
But my daughter away from home. It's been a whole thing. I didn't get a chance to. But I tried to tap in very late, and you guys were done. And I saw on the studio mic a copyright, and I'm like, how? How do you get a copyright on Savage Semester? But that makes a lot of sense, actually.
I can't not play Broadway Girls the first Savage Semester back.
Well, first of all, we don't give it. You can have our copyright on our unlisted,
Yeah, take it all.
Fine. And we're going to
non-monetized video.
And because of that, it's going to be a copyright for every single Savage Semester, guaranteed. Promise you. That's a fact.
The only thing I did like is they won't, if you live in Russia or Belarus, you can't watch that video now. I don't know what the fuck Broadway Girls did to Russia and Belarus.
Well, our guy Kansas and Korea is okay, though, right?
I would hope so. I think
All right.
Korea was fine. It wasn't listed. Or
All right.
Kansas. Kansas was also not listed.
You can't have them all, Can't wait for y'all to come out to Canton. Have you guys been to Fiddlesticks? I've heard that name. We didn't go to Fiddlesticks, though, did we?
No, we've been there 2 years now. I've not been to Fiddlesticks. But Adam, we're going to be there a whole week this time. And
Yeah, I will
just
say,
judging
Mike,
by
go
people,
ahead.
I think maybe if you're good on the old baby front.
Well, I was just going to say, just to give people and myself here, all right, who's been drinking, having fun on vacation here for a little bit, we'll see how let's put it like this. The school will be rented for a full week. I will be there probably the large majority of that full week, but it might be a lot more in and out. I mean, my daughter's probably going to be born on the later part of July, and this is the first week of August, so it's going to be a little hairy here. We'll make it work.
I don't want your wife to hate me, so we understand. But maybe one of
It's
those.
okay.
Early
She's gonna
nights,
hate me, so it's all right.
If you got a little bit, maybe we'll go to Fiddlesticks and shoot
No,
some pool.
I swear,
Have some cheap drinks.
Oh well, I would love to do that. That sounds tremendous.
Jesus Christ, leads down to 3, Adam.
You know what, Mike? You know what this reminds me of? I was gonna say something to you, but we pivoted. This reminds me of when you were. Go back to 4D, everybody.
When I crushed.
Go back
Mavs.
to 4D. The week before, the Cowboys had 5 terrible weeks in a row.
Oh yeah.
And Mike went ham. Really, everybody should be go sell CD Lamb. He's over his market value. Dat man and Dak went on an absolute tear, and Fizzle had our head on a platter the rest of the year. I feel like when you called Fizzle out, it was okay if you called the Mavs, but when you called out Fizzle, I feel like there's voodoo stuff at play here now. We're in trouble.
I think so.
If they come back and win this game because of that, I'm not messing with Fizzle anymore, man. That's my dog. I'm not talking shit ever again.
He's got some magic, man. Fizzle magic.
There was a good question here though, but I mean, cheap drinks and billiards. I mean, who's not having fun there? I mean,
sounds great.
Anthony,
love cheap stuff.
Anthony Ross, we will see you in Canton, and you will not have to pinch our arm or anything to get us to go to Fiddlesticks. I promise. All right.
No.
What was the place called though? Why am I drawing a blank? The
George's.
place yeah, thank you. I'm I knew it wasn't Fiddlesticks, but I'm what the heck
George's.
is it called? George's. The chicken. George's goes down in infamy. Mike, that night was absolutely legendary.
Not for me either.
What do you mean?
Like it goes down. It goes down in infamy for like real bad reasons for me. Like I had a miserable time at George's, absolutely just atrocious.
Yeah.
And it's not to deal with George's. It's just to deal with the fact we put like 500 people in a bar that holds 30. It was miserable for a fat guy who sweats in August.
Well, I mean,
not fun. I did not enjoy myself. I had things dripping where they should not be dripping.
What do you mean? What do you mean things?
Things were dripping.
Stranger
should
Things.
Not be dripping. Stranger Things.
No, but that was the first time. Honestly, I'm old now, so I'm okay with it. You know, I feel like I'm just comfortable saying I'm old now. But that was the first time since COVID that I had been packed in someplace like sardines. Like it was OG days, and it was. I just liked a lot of the dynamics that didn't involve me. You know, I kind of was able to people watch.
You've been going out to New York every couple of weeks, riding the subway and shit. So like you're probably used to this kind of stuff, ain't you?
I'll tell you one thing, man. Going to New York in like the winter and even the spring. I'll tell you one thing in the summer, Mike. The smells, the subway rides that don't have AC, dog. It is. There are some not so fun public transportation. But I'll tell you one thing. What's so crazy about New York? You can fly into LaGuardia, which is in Queens, and I can basically take free public transportation, or almost, like it's $2 to $3 to ride a subway. Literally get to the middle of Manhattan from that airport. Where, like, if you think about it, if you go to any other city, if someone doesn't come, you don't have your boy come pick you up, or someone you know come pick you up, like that's going to cost you a grip to get there, like $60-$80 a lot of times in an Uber.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a place that's very unique, but in the summer it gets hot and it gets gross with that smell.
Well,
all those people in there.
If you do a good job and you really get that Dynasty channel at BDG growing up, like you can like petition Nick to hire a driver to pick you up. That would be
sweet. You know what's crazy? None of those dudes have a car. Like it doesn't even. It makes no sense to have a car in New York. Honestly,
that's true. Yeah,
you got to pay for parking. You're not going to be able to use it for 60% of the time. Everybody just takes public transportation if you actually live like really in the city. It's kind of crazy.
All I know is when I come out there, my fat ass is not riding the subway. I will pay whatever I need to. Like we're gonna take a fucking cab or a fucking Uber. I'm not riding my fat ass, my country fat ass from the Midwest on a New York subway. I will lose my fucking mind.
Can I tell you this? One, the things are going to be dripping again for you. Two,
dripping.
But seriously, it actually, I would say, from doing it enough times now, I would say the Uber and the car ride is actually a little more frustrating because it's just super herky-jerky. People are driving like maniacs, and it's half the time you're gonna get a car that's no AC. You got the windows down. It's just give me what I know for cheap. You know,
I'm just gonna sit in the back in the air conditioning and watch a little PH.
You know what? Maybe if you get
a good time,
maybe you just get the Uber Black, like really up it. You know, fuck it, we're just gonna go all big.
Yeah.
If you do something like that, that could probably work.
Yeah, go ahead and say balls deep.
This has been a pretty fun shit show here. You know what? Can I tell you, Mike? We're at over 200 people watching this during the NBA Finals.
It tells you how many people don't like basketball.
Well, I think it tells you. I think it tells you how many people really like you. They want to see Iowa Michael.
Nah.
Oh, come on. I'm literally watching. I'm literally looking at chats here that are directed to you. What you mean? Don't humble yourself to this degree. All right.
If it was a Caitlin Clark game on, we'd be fucked.
That's actually probably pretty true. Can I tell you that is? It's starting to become the more wild thing to me. Like I know people are petty. You see pettiness all the time, but man, it's just so. It's so weird. It really is so weird.
I find a lot of it hilarious to me.
But I find it I do too. But I find it like really odd in the fact that I guess maybe they've never been in that position before, so they don't. Yeah. Maybe there's not as many people looking at it, so they don't. You don't really it could just always be that way, but it's just really heightened and dramatized because there's so much publicity around it.
I don't think they honestly, I'm with you. I don't think they know how to deal with it. It's kind of like when Patrick Mahomes stormed on the scene. I would imagine there was probably some Chiefs players that were not happy, right? Like they were like, fucking talk about me, I'm on the team too, or, you know, this kind of stuff. Like, I'm a good player too. And it's like, I'm sorry, man. Patrick Mahomes has stolen the fucking show, and you ain't ever getting it back. Like, this is the world you live in. Tough shit. Like, but you didn't really hear too much of it. I think it's just so new for a lot of them that haven't really experienced it. It's not their fault either. Like, I understand. Like, it's also rookie hazing. You're not gonna let the rookie, but in the same sense, I would love them if they just weren't such assholes about it in general. You know.
But I mean, I guess. So it feels like a very, very long time. They've that sport, women's basketball, and other women's sports, like they've been petitioning. They don't get the love they deserve. That they don't get people watching. And now it's not even up for debate. Everybody knows that the reason there's literally enough stats based on numbers of eyes. Speaking of, like, you can see right here, just like I can see there's 206 people watching right now. It's clear as day. There's literally no argument. It's literally there's a paper trail of viewers. Why? Okay. It wasn't directly you that changed the viewership, but it's good. I don't understand the need for. I guess I'm getting older now too. Like, it's easier. Everybody is very egocentric at that point.
Doesn't it also feel like her rookie year's been like a letdown?
But okay, let me just put.
I want to put.
I want to put some clarity.
Like
no, I want to put some clarity to that.
Like
I want to put some clarity to that because I think actually it's interesting. I'm on family vacation with my wife's family, and she has 3 sisters. And I was talking with one of her sisters about how a lot of what you kind of get out of life, or it's a lot based on what your expectations are, right? So if you're the first kid of the family, your expectations are that mom and dad are always looking at you. Like, you get all eyes. If you're not that, you never have that expectation that you always have all eyes on you. The point is with Caitlin Clark to the expectations for her coming out of last year, the expectations were going to be outrageous. To the field part, Mike, the only way it wasn't going to feel not like a letdown is if she was going out there scoring 40, 50 a night. They're winning every fucking game. Like, the expectations were going to be through the roof. So yeah. I don't actually disagree with the point that you're making, but I just want to put clarity to and context to the fact that of course it does. This is like she's transcending the sport.
Yeah. Well, she's coming in as a rookie. She's top 15 in scoring. She's top 5 in assists as a rookie.
Yeah, she's got the ball in her hands all the time, but she actually does make some really good plays with the pass too.
And I know, like, some talks have been made about her shooting or whatever, but out of people who take,
I love all this, but is this for real?
Ooh, I don't know if Luka's out. I missed that part.
So I have it up. I have it up on the little thing on the right here, but it's like delayed.
I got so excited about Caitlin.
I saw that. Well, not so. I heard that. By the way, I mean it was a good conversation, but I'm definitely pivoting to this right now.
Well, I mean, the last one about Caitlin, out of everybody who's taken 8 threes a game, like Caitlin is, which isn't a lot. I mean, she's shooting 33%. Some people have talked about her shooting, but nobody else shoots better than 34% shooting that many threes in the league. And that's, you know, Kelsey Plum, Diana Taurasi, Arike Ogunbowale. I always have a tough time with that fucking last name. I really do. But, yeah, I mean, she's, like, right on par. I don't know what the hate is, but it does feel like overall from the
the hate is simply this.
Yeah.
They might even have
fouled out.
Oh, he fouled out. Oh, it's a wrap then, bro. Unless Kyrie goes hero mode.
Fouled out.
These last 3.5. By the way,
I've seen that before.
Don't do that. Y'all talking. Yeah, I know there's people that haven't even typed the comment in yet. Don't. Just save it. I've seen him go hero mode in person.
I've seen it too.
He's one of the few people to go 40 burger while LeBron's going 40 burger.
You get to see Kyrie in person? I mean,
Oh,
you're in the
my
Cleveland
God,
area.
you didn't. I don't know. Yeah, this was before you and I met. So when my wife and I first started dating, I had Cavs season tickets. Real nice seats too.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? You want to know a funny story? So I met my wife at the Kentucky Derby. I think I told you that, right?
Yes.
So I met her at the Derby, and it's kind of like some high school shit. My roommate's my roommate's sister at the time was very good friends with my wife's older sister. So it was like a game of like, junior high, high school, trying to get the number, Kelly's number. Eventually it finally came like a week later, like Kelly's number, At first I was told, no, I can't have the number. So then I ended up inviting her to the Cavs. I invited her to the finals, bro. She turned me down during the finals. Imagine, like, you know how crazy that is to turn someone down with NBA finals tickets? It's insane.
Man, she turned you down with finals tickets.
Yeah.
The flex didn't even work.
Listen, man, that's why sometimes the rebuild is necessary. We had to rebuild,
it wasn't
bro.
Fucking final tickets.
It wasn't me. The finals tickets attached to me. It was still a no. She didn't want my ass.
She's kind of like Vince from Fast and Furious. What's the Buster doing here?
What's the bus? Yeah.
The Buster kept me out of handcuffs.
Oh shit. That almost just came out my nose.
Yeah, remembers the Buster.
But yeah, so we started dating in 2015, but I had Cavs season tickets. We were down there watching the game, 2016, all that stuff, man. Coming back 3-1. Crazy.
We had that question on last night. I had these little flashcards on Savage Semester, Adam.
You got Dynasty. Oh, sports trivia. Okay, we're going up from Dynasty flashcards to sports trivia. I love this.
It was all sports trivia. Yeah, one of the questions.
How did it go? How was that?
Who won the 2016 NBA Finals?
Man, I mean, it was a good question to ask while I wasn't there, because that would have been like, I wouldn't have answered because I would have let everybody else. But that's.
I was highly impressed with Corey Schumer. There's a reason he was the valedictorian, but he was like spot on.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Corey. I'll tell you the valedictorian. While it felt in like the very moment, like he just was, he was behind my head. Like, so imagine we set this up at this type of setup right here. You see all this room behind me, but we were towards the wall, and Corey was just on the wall, just like making crazy faces at my head the whole time. And Mike couldn't keep his straight face, and he called Corey the valedictorian at that point. But I'll tell you, it was a great valedictorian pool. He's done some stuff lately, Mike, that it makes me think we made the right call. Actually, we don't make a lot of right calls, but that one was. Yeah.
He's done all right. Shout out.
So he
Corey.
got that too. Damn.
Yep, he nailed that one. He won last night. I think he had 8 points. He's the first 8.
I agree. It is. Now at the same time, for a guy that plays no defense, and in the NBA they give you 6 of them. So like, bruh, you out here hacking people, man. Like, come on. Now I know how like you get in foul trouble and you kind of play a little. You try to start being softer on the defensive end. You don't try to pick up fouls, but teams will start to go at you. I didn't get to see how it went down, but yeah, that's if they win this game, Mike. No. If they win this game, Mike, it's over though, bro. It's a wrap. We can just stop paying attention.
4-point game though. We're good.
Yeah, we're close. In the mix. Let me ask you this. There was actually a couple questions here that I did want to get to. Okay, Jake. By the way, Jake from State Farm. It doesn't actually say that, but that's what I'm calling you.
What's up, Jake from State Farm? What are you wearing?
She sounds hideous.
You sound beautiful, Jake, by the way. Let Adam be negative.
The typing is
beautiful.
Very nice, especially with that trash can in it. All right, 12 teams, start 9. Superflex PPR feels standard at this point. I only tell if it's one quarterback and kind of make fun of it to Mike. All right, we got Stroud, Caleb, T-Law, Benson. Wow. Benson being like slid in with the QBs is kind of a little bit off, throws people off there, including me.
Plus
trash cans. Yeah. You could probably argue. Anyway, London, Higgins, Rome, Pickens, Brian Thomas Jr., Pitts, 325 first. Probably a year away from contending, but any mindset, the way you said that, with the probably. But I think this is one of those where you kind of let it play out. Probably, sure. I would say you should be planning for that. don't make any moves that are going to cause don't get too far ahead of yourself to try to win now and make a move prematurely that's going to hurt you. But if you go in with the idea of contending in the future and it turns out that, like, you look at this room, let's say Mike, let's say we're wrong. Let's say Stroud actually is a top 5 quarterback, right? And let's say one of Caleb or T-Law is a top 12 quarterback. London ends up taking a step forward, Higgins, whether it's in Cincy, whatever the case may be. If you find yourself very much clearly in the playoff picture, and maybe even like, you're flirting with getting a bye. Shit, you got those 325 first in the cupboard. Might be time to go get those out. But I kind of go in with the mindset of I'm not necessarily ready to contend this year, but I'm not going to take myself out of contention unnecessarily unless a deal's just too good to pass up.
Yeah. You know me with CJ Stroud. The market is way too high on him for me to not shop him around and see what else I can get. Like that,
we're on the same page, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, moves to make now. I would say,
yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, Jake, so I don't know where you're at with it. But
it's just too high. It's too high.
It's kind of like I view it as a much higher valued asset as the same thing as Sam Laporta. Like, there's just nowhere to go up. The difference is Sam Laporta could end up being a difference maker. Now, I also don't necessarily think that's locked or etched in stone, but CJ Stroud has a really uphill battle. Like, he's going to have to probably throw for another 15 touchdowns this year. He's going to have to hit all cylinders. Not saying he's not in the position to, but based on his price, he has to be a outrageous passer of the football to live up to this price. So it's almost like I'm not going to say he's at his peak, but he's at his peak.
Yeah, he definitely is for me. Trip Crown asked Stroud or 3 random first. I think I'll probably just take the first, but it's like right on the borderline. If you got another like throw-in piece, it's even easier. But
I would say, I'm sorry, this fly it's found the bourbon, and there's only one left, but it's trying to get its way in here.
By the way, the game is essentially over. It's 6-point lead.
Well, I mean, Luka fouls out. I mean,
it's over.
Yeah, but I think
had a game.
I think the 3 random first in value could be fine, but Mike, this is still like okay. How many times, depending on the market, and you know this, there's plenty of markets where 3 random first don't actually get you really any of the top 12 because they're all just straight up first round picks. Sometimes there's markets where people just don't trade quarterbacks, whether right or wrong. So like I would say, while in like value that would make sense, and I'm kind of like, yeah, let me just get that. I would need to know your market. Like, can I basically, one, do you have enough quarterbacks to just go ahead and liquidate CJ Stroud? If you do, then I'm probably having a different conversation in general. But 2, now can you flip these 3 random first, or 2 of them, let's say, for a nice quarterback replacement and net a first? Like that all kind of comes down to it.
I get behind that one. I think it's right on the borderline. I'd probably just say yes.
Value wise, I don't think there's any way to debate. I think that value wise makes sense, but it's kind of that would come down to my league specific because it's tough to get quarterbacks in the top 5 value wise. I want to see this one here. Heavily inspired by Mike's quarterback video vid. So we got a 12 team, start 13, 2 Superflex spots. Oh shit, really? So 3 quarterbacks? 1.5 tight end premium PPR. Traded away Purdy, Corum, 25 first, 25 second, and 26 second. That is outrageous amount of wow. For Josh Allen in the 3rd.
If it's really 3 quarterbacks, you gotta fucking steal. If it is just the 2 Superflex spots because it's start 13, it might be a little bit heavy.
I'll be honest, it's probably not. Even then, it's not. Like, here's the thing. It sounds crazy, but think about this. Blake Corum, he could. I think he's going to make Kyron's life hell. But I also don't. I'm not ready to quite say like Blake Corum's going to just take the backfield over at the same time. Blake Corum, ancillary. The 25 first, if your team's strong enough, when, by the way, getting Josh Allen in this type of format is a good way to strengthen your team. Like, I view this as, Mike, a very big steal, even in Superflex only, because Purdy he could end up being a guy that's not Josh Allen difference maker, but he's a difference maker to the field, okay?
Holy shit! It is one quarterback in 2 Superflex spots.
But dude, Josh Allen is not going anywhere. Like, you get to de-risk the whole Purdy situation. You add Corum in a couple seconds. The fact that there's even I know the third is irrelevant as hell, but why? I know why. Why do you get anything back?
Why do you get anything back? Yes.
Like Purdy, let me ask you this: Purdy, a first, and Corum, or Josh Allen, any format, Superflex, 12 team Superflex. 12 team Superflex, Josh Allen. The seconds don't change shit here.
Unless maybe, Adam, it was your South Harmon Dynasty Degenerates, where it's like start 16.
Fair enough. Start 16, and now the quarterbacks don't have as much value. Sure.
Right, and you got like massive points per carry bonuses to running backs.
Start 13's closer to that, but not enough for me yet.
No.
But by the way, though, but if it's start 13 and 3 of them are quarterbacks,
it changes the numbers, don't it?
Mike, in the I think I left that league. It's the what is it called?
Auction Redux.
Redux, yeah.
3.
So I had to split the damn title with COVID. Yeah, I'll never forgive COVID for that. I had to split the title with Rip, but those three Superflex spot we had in that league, Mike. But you had the quarterback scoring down tremendously to try to offset that.
Yes.
This is insane.
And it still didn't really matter, right? Like, teams who didn't have 3 quarterbacks in the fucking playoffs, they were just like fucked.
But Mike, like, he also imagine now in this format. Imagine in this format having A-Rich, he said, as his quarterback 2 with Josh Allen.
Yes. Go get Jane Daniels. Just complete the trifecta of.
I almost feel like
winning.
If I have Josh Allen cheat code and A-Rich potential cheat code upside, like, I almost feel like I get leaning into just this outrageous upside play. I would probably go like, all right, just give me a nice little solid piece here that's not going to miss, because that could be crazy.
Oh man,
what now?
No, I was just looking at the. I feel bad for Fizz because his Mavs are fucking cooked. I'm win one for the fucking NBA purist in me, who's like, maybe you need just a little bit of defense.
Hey Fizz, what happened, bro? I haven't heard from you.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? I'll get him on Friday.
This was the start of the show here.
Jets for fantasy. Yeah. Well, he went downhill after that one. I don't blame him. His Mavs got.
I blame him.
Just crushed. He should be used to it, though, being a Cowboys fan. Like, every year since 1995 has been dog shit for him. So.
Well, what I was actually going to ask Mike is, do you think now he's going to say he wasn't ever a Mavs fan? Like, nah, I like CD. I just like Kyrie and Luka.
He's not like some other Dallas fans that we know that team jump and they're like, well, I've kind of been a Raiders fan my whole life, or I've, that bullshit. So, no, Fizz is a purist. Fizz is a Mavs guy. He's a Cowboys fan through and through.
I wish I was in an airport. This is I don't know how I keep getting this room. This is the ballroom at this resort we're staying at in Isle of Palms.
Let's go.
They have it set up for a business meeting tomorrow, but last time I was here, they had a wedding just before that. So it's insane because I have a light here, a ring light, just a little one.
You don't need it.
No, it's not that I don't need it. It doesn't do anything. The lights behind these lights are so like obnoxiously bright.
Oh yeah.
That it looks. I look like I don't even know what I look like. I look ridiculous right now.
Them lights behind you are brighter than the ones shining on my ultimate autograph signed memorabilia back there.
By the way, that setup, I meant to.
You
we haven't talked since you put out one of those solos. It looks good, man. I mean, I'll say it looks good, but you definitely have done a little bit of a. I don't know if that was a shade to me, but like putting the Steelers and the Bengals up top, like that's tough for a Browns guy.
I got it. We'll go this way. There we go. I got it by divisions, if you can't tell. And you see the mini helmets down there.
Wait, how's it by divisions?
Well, up top you got the AFC North, and then right below it you got the AFC East. I got Patriots and Dolphins right next to each other. So my dad's pissed. Tyreek's sitting right next to Drew Bledsoe. He don't like it.
Where's the David Njoku?
It's the mini helmet down there, right next to Zay Flowers.
That was rhetorical. I saw it down there. It's like not only is it the Bengals and the Steelers up there. It's like here's the Browns, nice down here. I'm used to that by now. Appreciate it, D, bro.
Well, maybe
by the way,
tomorrow.
hey, you know what? Real quick, Mike. Let me. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I do. D-Bro.
Okay.
We've been talking about this, Mike and I know you talked about it with us. We need to get the Fab Four. We need to get the Fab Four. Do a video here soon. So let's try to lock in a time for that. We've been wanting to since, I don't know, you brought it up to us. What was it, 2 months ago now? But we need to make that happen.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Your place or ours. Or home at a home.
Even if I'm in an airport like this one, I'll be there. You know, I'll just turn it on. Would you deal around? Go ahead. Sorry.
Anthony Ross asked, "What's the deal with the shithouse?" Anthony, if you're in the Discord, which I moved it to the $1 tier now, so there's no excuse to not be in the Discord. At least in the $1 tier, for sure. But if you're in the Discord with the $1 tier, there's a sign-up sheet for the shithouse. Boom.
Yeah. So
Put your name on there.
We moved it to the general tier. So you do need to. The reason we make everybody be a patron member is it's kind of like a. I don't know how do you want to put it, Mike. Just keeping the dickheads out in a way. Like I don't.
For sure.
It's kind of filtering out like it's like a bouncer at the club. Like I don't want. We don't want people coming in there for the free and just causing a whole bunch of problems for unnecessary reasons.
This has been one of the best weeks, Adam. So for some behind the scenes stuff, Adam started taking over the YouTube.
Oh,
and,
all right.
Adam started taking over doing some of the YouTube stuff, like SEO and that kind of stuff, which I've made it like a mission of mine to try to reply to every comment. So it has been so nice just to turn that shit off this week. I love you guys in the YouTube comments, but sometimes some of you get on my fucking nerves with your bullshit. So just to be like, hey, not my fucking problem, man. All you, Adam. Like you be like, Mike's fucking stupid.
But see,
how dare he say some CJ shit, whatever the fuck it is, or my quarterback hold never works.
See, this
You're
is where
a fucking idiot. This is bullshit strategy. Just to cut that shit out of my life has been great. So to Adam's point, $1 general tier. At least I know you're committed a little bit.
I mean, it also well, let's not go down that whole thing. I was just gonna say that call to rite of passage. I like that, D-Bro, but. Yeah, if you're just a part of our community, anyone can come stay at the shit house. So I'll tell you this, it's an event unlike any other. I'll just put that out there. So the $1 you can pay for the yearly.
We can't even convince Derek to come fucking stay with us.
Stay? What do you mean? Stay? Come. You go in the doors.
He won't even visit.
Yeah, he's heard his stories.
Like he's gonna catch something just walking in the door.
You catch something for sure. I don't know exactly what, but
catch these hands.
I'll just say it's a really good community event where like you get a chance to actually kind of meet a lot of the people that are diehards into the space. If you sub to South Harmon, if you are really into like AMAs, the stuff that we talk about on more than the surface level. The amount of fun you're going to have, plus feel like you're like-minded with a lot of these individuals, which, by the way, some of them are going to be a little more degenerates than others. It's just we found out at the South Harmon shithouse last year. But it's a blast. So I would strongly suggest for $10 and change if you sign up for the yearly for that $1, you will not be disappointed. That would be the way I would say it. All right, so let's do one last question before we bounce out of here, because I need to actually I got to film another video and I need to get home because I'm gonna have to wake up early with my daughter tomorrow. It's gonna be fun.
You good, pimp? I'm starting to sweat down here.
Well, I'm out of bourbon. I have to really piss bad. By the way, last AMA was fantastic. I tuned in at the very end when Mike was telling. Cody, telling I can't speak. Telling Maddie. He was telling Maddie that when my drink's over, like I know it's time to end the show, but not realizing the show's still fucking going live. That was hilarious, bro.
It was a misclick.
No, it was
for one of the best endings ever.
No, I mean sincerely, it was a fantastic like, they put those clips at the end, like the outro stuff.
Yeah.
It ended up being exactly that. It was perfect.
That was the plan. I think.
All right, let's ask. I love Mike when there's more eyeballs coming in, and there's no one's asking questions. They're just letting us talk. Like
it's perfect.
That's what the shit house is like. If you have fun with that, there's a bunch of people talking smack. T-Rock cooks up. Honestly, this is no BS. Some of the best food ever I've ever had. Looking for one more question that's decent. Honestly, I don't see any, bro.
That's good. I mean, we had one.
Hold on. Well, I wouldn't need a room because it's the place I think it is. It's like 5 minutes from my house. Oh, if you live in Canton, dude, yeah, just come through. Yeah, you don't have to, you can just come visit, go to the expo, get a ticket, stay at your crib if you'd rather. I can tell you.
Hit up the Discord though. It's fucking $1.
Well,
you'll have fun. Trust me.
Yeah, but
yes, then hit us.
I'll just say that you think you're gonna want to go home, but you won't.
Yeah, you'll be like, "Can I stay?" Sorry, we're full.
Okay, I can give you more. This is the last one. Then we got to dip. I can give you more details on this Stroud deal. LOL. If we got the time,
get after it.
We got the time. If you want to type it up, I'm. When I say I'm holding on for dear life, that's. Yeah, I gotta go. So that's not that I gotta use the restroom. Bad.
You really gotta pee.
I hear those dollars get put to good use. Koopa put it best. I know where all the money from the warp tool is going. You know. My God, that was one of those. That was one of those things where, like, I remember vividly coming in from that parking lot and hearing him say that, and like, I'll just never unsee that and hear that moment ever in my life.
Forever.
All right, he says he's already in the Discord.
Perfect.
I'll be honest with you, Trip Crown. Instead of asking the question, you've typed in 5 different things, and you got beat. Morgan Hart beat you. So sorry, pal. Trip Crown, you know I love you. If it's there, we'll maybe get to it. I effed up. 12-team Superflex start 10. 6-point passing touchdown. Mahomes, no quarterback 2. Yikes. JSN, Flowers, Ridley, Gabe Davis, Baker, McCaffrey, Charb, Marshall Lloyd Garendo, Schultz, Kraft. I mean, we got 325 first, a second, a third, a fourth, and all 26 picks. I mean, this is a colossal rebuild, like straight up.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
where's the fuck up?
Yeah, you just have to rebuild here. The only thing that I've seen here is you're going to be hard pressed to sell anything. Like in season, like obviously Mahomes, okay, but like JSN has to have a window where you feel like you're going to sell.
Yeah.
Flowers, and then all these guys, like it's going to take a lot of convincing before people are really buying. So you're kind of in a holding period, frankly, unless you can sell. I think the Mahomes tear down is something you have to continually explore, but don't get ripped off.
I think Charbonnet is probably the one that stood out to me the most. Like, get that fucking guy off your team. And there's still people that will buy him. So I don't know if you could do something like Charbonnet and Ridley just to get to one piece. That's a little bit more safer with some upside.
Trip Crown, I was playing. This dude, he's now typed like 9 comments in and didn't give me the question. Give me the question and we'll get to it. But we're bouncing if you don't. So, and I won't even feel bad because I know you'll be back next week and we'll get you answered next week. But
it's a shit league too, so like we'll see it when the.
Theo asks, "How do I sign up for the yearly?" Isn't it just right there on the Patreon website?
Yeah. Yep.
There should be an option when you go to patreon.com/South Harmon to get into the Discord. For the yearly purchase. Like when you go to sub, it's either monthly or yearly. There's a button you click up top, I believe.
Yep. You may have to, I know some of it, sometimes it does weird stuff. You might have to cancel and then re-up or whatever at the yearly rate. So there's the question. Stroud or 3 random firsts?
Stroud.
3 random firsts.
Hold on.
Hope no one.
Castle Black says, easy one. Is Lamb your one now or still going Jettas? It's Lamb for me.
50-50.
Can I tell you why it's Lamb? I mean, for me. Now, obviously, I'm not going to act like there's a correct answer, but the thing about Jefferson is, what's McCarthy going to be? And then if it isn't McCarthy, how long until he gets quarterback play, which is going to be his higher end of his ceiling. Like, to me, CD and him are the same age, so the dynasty age thing we can put out the window. We've seen a better season from CD Lamb than we have Jefferson. Obviously, Jefferson still is outrageously talented. That's not a knock on Jefferson. I just think in dynasty, if we're like, what is the payoff that I'm waiting for versus CeeDee Lamb right now with Dak Prescott? Where if Dak Prescott balls, if Dak Prescott signs a 4-year extension, like now we're to the point where these guys are going to end up past the point where they're young anymore. They get to the AJ Brown age and it's all production anyway. So I just feel like the extra waiting period to like be like Jefferson is that much more talented and going to be that much better. That payoff doesn't seem to make sense for me based on the fact they're both 25.
I get you. It's pick your flavor, right? And they're in the same tier as Chase too.
It is, and it's I'm picking my flavor. I'm picking Sedarian. That's all I got. Trip Crown still didn't ask the question except for a joking one.
He did. Strouder 3 first. I got him.
By the way, Trip Crown, we love you. Michael, any final thoughts? Because I got to go to the bathroom so damn bad at this point.
I'm sweating like a horn.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't know if it's the camera, if it's the background now. Like Mike is getting dressed up, man. Like his setup's looking dope. You never look like you're sweating anymore. So I don't doubt that you are.
I might have a JSN signed jersey hung up back here too. Framed.
Framed? Bro, where you gonna put it?
I don't know. Maybe move some stuff to the left that way. Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe you zoom out just a tad so you get a little. I can see it, but
I don't zoom out anymore. But I can move this fucker back maybe.
Same difference.
Love it.
All
maybe
right.
I'll go at an angle like you at your crib.
You know what? That's actually kind of the move. That's how this is. But honestly, all it did was show my receding hairline in gigantic, bright light fashion. So that's why I look like I'm in an airport.
You got a little like comb over thing going on up there.
You can't even see. Like what's crazy is it looks that way. I mean, I'm trying to show you.
You got like the little Gordon Hayward.
Dude, we're at the point of no return for a lot of things up on the top of the dome.
Yeah.
The hairs are in trouble. Grim Reaper says, thanks guys, later. We love you. We'll see you back here same time, same place for AMA next week. I'll be back home, but we'll be giving you the same type of love. We're out of this thing. Peace.